Well, just as I promised, I'm cleaning up the little 21-foot MacGregor. Now, you'll notice this grime that's all down the boat from sitting under trees. Tannic acid and pine sap are some of the worst things you can expose your watercraft to. So yeah, it's up on the dry, but if you're going to have a boat, invest in a cover. Cover is one of the best investments you can make for your boat. But I'd like to show you a little trick. This is just some very mild dish soap. I don't like using dish soap because dish soap usually has ammonia in it, and you don't want to put ammonia on your fiberglass. But if you'll notice right here, we're just trying to get in and get a real good clean on it. Now the ammonia does have one property that we're looking for. It will strip wax. So if they've ever waxed the boat, or any vessel, or anything for that fact, dish soap will remove that little bit of wax. Or it'll help remove it. It may not remove it all. But this is a very stiff bristle brush, and it's a little aggressive. I wouldn't want to use this on any fine finish boat. Now you'll notice that I have another brush, and this one is a much softer. I don't know if you can hear the difference, but this brush is much softer. Try to do a little trick here. If I can get them to sit the way I want, I'll have to do it this way. You can see that the bristles on this one give where this one stays still. So this is a real aggressive scrub brush. And all I'm doing is on this sure grip or non-slip area. I shouldn't use the term sure grip. It's not sure grip. Is I'm just doing little circles. And you'll notice that some of this is black. Well, what it is it's actually gone through the color on these spots here. Now I'll have to find out if this is actual gel coat or paint, and I'll have to do a little more cleaning to get to that point. But what I do is, first thing I do is I will clean down the boat. And I just start at one point and work my way around. Now you'll notice the garbage that was on top of it is washing back onto the sides. This will all rinse off whenever I give it its final rinse. So we're coming around, and you can see the difference where we've cleaned it and where we're starting to clean right here, working our way into the middle. Now the thing I like about this vessel is that with the brush, I can reach a little more than halfway across if I stretch. So the first thing I do is I clean this part. Now you'll notice I'm wearing my rain jacket, and that's so that when I lean my big old fat belly against the boat, I don't have a laundry load of nasty to get fussed at by the true captain. She don't want this crap in her washer, and I don't blame her. So what I'm doing is I'm just cleaning her, a rough cleaning. It's not a detail cleaning, just doing a rough cleaning, because we've got a lot of neglect to get rid of. And you'll notice that's a couple years worth of leaves residue in the bottom, and it was up even with the side of the seats in the cockpit. Now there's a stress line crack that runs the entire length of the cockpit. Now there isn't any water at this point in time getting inside of this vessel. She's dry. And when I raised up the lid, this dust and debris from the pine trees fell in, and I got a couple drops of water coming from the hatch. But this is the first look that anybody here will get inside of the MacGregor. So I haven't gone through, I haven't done an inventory or anything. There's the sail bag, and there's the bow of the boat. So I'm just going to work on cleaning her up a little bit for you guys, get her to look a little better, and then I'll start repairing some of these spider cracks. Some of these will need fiberglass work. Some of them are only going to need gel coat reinforcement. Now, I'm not sure what happened, but in some of these places, they're so bad, like this one for instance, that I can tell there was some kind of impact here where we've had the fiberglass go down and come back up, and that just cracked all the gel coat. So I'll be doing a little repair on that. Now, one thing I want to advise everybody to do is go ahead and remove your rub railing. Now, I'll show you a video on how to put the rub railing back in, how to clean it and put it back in place if you don't replace it with new. This one's not very old, and as a matter of fact, but the reason I want to remove this is there's debris gets caught in behind your rub rail, and I'll see if I can show you here. You see how that's coming out from behind the rub railing? Now that side I haven't really got down and scrubbed yet, but let's go over here where I have scrubbed and I'll show you. And when you quit, there's little flakes coming out every time you hit it that come down. So you'll rinse it and you'll quit and they'll come down. Now this is held in by screws, and what you'll want to do is contain each and every one of these screws, and then you'll take out a section of your rub rail. And if you're doing this just for yourself, like I'm not doing this for a super fast production kind of model on it, so what I will do is I'll pull the rub rail out and I will remove the molding to here at this point, and then I will remove and I'll clean everything up. I'll repair what fiberglass I have in the aft section of the port side of the vessel, only because that's where my rub rail stops. Then I will finish cleaning up and I'll repair all of my gel coat, any fiberglass that needs to be fixed, any railing that needs to be put back in, and there is silicone down in those holes to keep water from going in, so that's keeping the vessel dry. I will remove all of my stainless. I will put new silicone in every vessel that I take care of. I will remove all of the lights and replace them with LEDs because it uses less battery power and it has a longer life, and you can see them a little further away. Then I'll come back in and buff it out, detail it, make it look really good. It'll probably look better than the day it was new. So once everything's done, all of our through holes, anything that goes through the vessel will have new silicone put in it. Well, not silicone, it'll have marine grade caulk put in it. Don't use silicone. Forgive me, carpenter for years. It slips out of my mouth. It's like the swear jar needs to be here for that. But don't use silicone. But we'll get up. We'll check all of our cleats, and if we have any that are worn down as this one is, we'll replace it. These plastic will find their way to the landfill or recycling center, whichever one will take them. These small metal cleats, I'm not a fan of the small metal cleats, and you can see this one's loose, so this will be repaired. We'll take our motor mount off and clean it thoroughly. We'll inspect all of our rigging to make sure everything looks as good as this looks. And I've already made pretty much an inspection on all of this stainless rigging, and it's all in very good shape. See if I can get a focus on that and not the ground. But it all looks good. The standing rigging was replaced about 2018, I believe, whenever they redid this boat. And they replaced 90% of the standing rigging. And you can see the two here. The one's new, and this was the old. And the old plastic sheathing on it, it's just crumbling away. And then you've got the new, and you can tell all the new because it has absolutely no plastic sheathing on it. But the ones that are not replaced, even those are in excellent condition on this vessel. It's only been freshwater. It's set most of its life on shore and under trees, apparently. And that's what I was wondering, if some of these cracks come from trees falling on them. And that's one thing I like about fiberglass. You can have a hole the size of your head in a boat, and in 3 days have it back in the water and nobody can tell it was ever damaged. Hey guys, you keep following and watching and liking. Give me some comments. That lets me know that I've reached out to someone. And if there's anything that you would like to know how to do, then shoot me a line, because on these sailboats, I'm fairly efficient. And the first fiberglass thing I'm going to do is I'm going to repair the rudder and get everything on it looking new. And then that'll be a little fiberglass tutorial if anybody wants to know anything about mixing fiberglass, whether you want to go 1% or 2%, why would you do either, and the best fiberglass mat, chopped strand, or even using the very thick Roven with an R, and where you would use them and why would you use those, and what not to buy in fiberglass. I'll cover that on the little tutorial, because if you walk into places like Walmart or your local parts store and buy fiberglass, you may just as well have bought trash in most cases. So I'll cover all that in a video. And once again, thanks for viewing. Like, subscribe, follow, and have a blessed day.